The goods is in the moments that you're creating in your life. That all this other stuff it's not tangible, it's not real.
You have had such an incredible career, and it started before you could even walk.
I'm a little tiny baby in a Playtex Nurser commercial for some kind of formula. My mom said she spits up less and has less gas.
and
she's
it
still
true?
saying that. She's still saying that
Really?
I spit up less and I have less gas.
Is that like every time you get together around the holidays that comes out?
I wish that was the great story I could tell, but no.
You have now been doing this for more than 4 decades at this point.
My cat got all A's on his checkup at the veterinarian.
Well, I'm moving on up to the east side. I look forward to contributing to this news station's already sterling reputation.
Amy, that's what I was supposed to wear today. That's why I hung it on the door. Oh, sweetie, you can't pull this off.
Emergency PTA meeting today at 5 o'clock. Will we see you there?
I'll totally get a sitter on a Tuesday night.
Yes, you can. You actually can.
What is it about the role of an actor and maintaining that longevity that you think you've done right?
Mediocre success.
What? You think you've had mediocre success?
Keep it like kind of on this level, and don't go too far.
Is that by
from there.
design? Is that what you're telling me?
In a way, it has been for me. Like I always thought when I was younger, like I want to do this forever. I have no other gifts.
Oh, come on.
to give anyone. I mean, at a time, and I thought, how do you do that? And you just keep it humble.
For anybody, no matter what field they're in, if you can maintain that humility as you rise to the top, it's so
and
important.
always reinvent everything. Try not to do the same thing twice. I think that's more just for me. That wasn't really by design. That was really just more like what interests me is not to be doing the same thing. Some people like kind of they find their niche and then they stay there, and that to me. That your ride is going to be shorter because at some point people are going to be like, okay, we've seen this. For me personally, on an artistic level and a creative level, like I never wanted to be the same character or look the same or feel the same or, So I've always tried to find things that inspire me. It's all about the game. It's not about the end.
Absolutely, you have to enjoy it while you're in it because otherwise, who knows? When you get there, when you have your big moment, you might not actually appreciate it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't.
Have you been in that moment where you achieved something that you had your mind set on and then you realize, wait, this isn't as cool as I thought it was going to be?
No, because it's never what I thought it was going to be. It's always a surprise. And that's the beauty of how the universe works, what do they say? How you make God laugh? Tell him your plans.
Has there been rejection? Have there been roles that you've desired you didn't get?
Out of 10, you get 9 no's. That's the life of an actor. It's 90% no.
How do you keep going?
There's always going to be something that's going to come around that's better. There's always that thing that you think is like the be-all, end-all, and then it doesn't happen, and then the next thing you know, you turn the corner, and it's something so much better. My mom really instilled that in me because, as a little girl, I was a little girl auditioning for things, and I would get so upset. I would get so depressed. And she really tried to tell me, like, there is something waiting for you on the other side of this that's so much better. And that's why this didn't happen. And she was right. And so it just that she instilled that in me, and that's always the way I've been.
Your mom knew the industry well.
I just lost a job this week that I was really wanted. I was super bummed, but I'm like, you know what? Something better.
This week?
Better. Yeah, 2 days ago. I was so sad. Just wasn't the person they wanted, and that's okay.
And that's something I have to tell myself sometimes in this career as well. Either they want A or they want B. And it's not necessarily a knock on who you are. It's just like they perceive the whole thing differently than what you are.
I had a teacher, an acting teacher who had this tape called On the Way to the Audition. And it was really like something you put in the car and you just kind of like psych yourself into whatever that is. And the first thing that he said is that they want you to do well. They want you to be the one. So give yourself that. Like, they don't want to say no to you. They want you to come in and be the one. There's support in that, and it makes you feel okay that, like, if you're not, then it's just because, not because you didn't do a good job, it's just because you just weren't you weren't the one, and that's okay.
What's been your favorite role?
Charity on Broadway.
I'm eating fancy chow and drinking fancy wine.
That was the best thing I've ever done.
What is the difference as an actor of performing live versus performing on film?
Well, for those 2.5 hours, it just belongs to you and that audience. It'll never happen again. What's happening on that stage and what's happening with them and the dance that you have with them, that will never happen again. And that's what was so exciting. It was the most freeing, frightening, and beautiful thing to stand on that stage every night.
What's the most important lesson that you've learned over the course of your career?
That your personal life and your private life are really important to protect. That's the goods. The goods is in the moments that you're creating in your life. That all this other stuff it's not tangible, it's not real. So stay who you are.
How did you do that?
I just don't think of myself as someone who's in this business. I've stayed really private. I don't have lots of actors friends. I don't stay in it. I don't talk about it. My people and my world, my circle is, no one is in this business. It's very different. I stay away from are you going to go to that premiere? Are you going to go to that part? No, not unless I have to. Mm-hmm. I don't want to stay away from all of that. It's for me, it just doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like who I am.
At what point in your career did you realize there has to be this separation in order for me to do what I love, but also have the life that I want?
My mom just always kept me normal, and I also grew up in a neighborhood that it just didn't allow for that. My friends wouldn't allow me to be anything but just Christina who lives on this street, the Christina with the single parent only child. It wouldn't have been allowed in my group of friends if I had come back and was holier than thou. So they kept me humble.
Do you go back ever and watch yourself as a child actor and think about what was going through your life and your mind at that time?
I was doing a movie in Atlanta a couple years ago, and I would put TBS on at night so I could fall asleep to it because I loved, they would show, old sitcoms that were great, like the Seinfelds and whatever. Every morning when I would wake up at 5:30, though, Married with Children was on, so I would wake up at 5:30, and it would sometimes the TV would still be on, and I was like, oh, not what I don't. It's not the first thing I want to see.
What do you think when you look back at Kelly Bundy?
I think that was, 30 years ago.
Wow.
It was 20 when we stopped, and 30 years ago since we started, so it's a whole other lifetime that I don't even know about.
I was telling the team this morning, I, as a child, wasn't allowed to watch that show. My parents said, no,
so funny.
It's way too crude. You
and
can't.
It's so innocuous now. It's so...
Exactly.
It's so not dangerous.
Exactly.
Compared to what's on television.
Everything has changed since that point in time, and the standard, what people are willing to consume, is completely different.
Yep.
How do you handle that with your own daughter?
Thank God for apps, I'm telling you. I have an app called Common Sense Media, so if there's a movie, I look at that to see what's appropriate for her age.
Do you think she's going to be an actress someday?
She's going to be doing something performance-wise because she's got too much going on there. Every day when that little girl comes in and gives me a hug and says, I love you, Mommy, you're the greatest mommy in the world, what else do you need? For me, I'm like, girl, I'd gladly hang out with you all day. The second I had her, I was like, I'm good with just this.
Was there a part of you that thought, I don't need acting ever again? Mm-hmm. So what brought you back?
It still does. I mean, every day. Look, I love being an actress. It's the greatest gift, but it's not my be-all, end-all. I mean, of course I want to continue to work, and I will. And I'll always work. I'll always find work that I love. That's my mentality. My mentality is I'm always going to be able to find it. I'm not afraid. But my biggest joy and my biggest job is being my kid's mom. Trying to be the best that I can be for her.
What's your number one piece of advice to her and to other young people who want to pursue that path?
Study, and don't do it until you're 18.
Does that have to do with what you saw, what you experienced when you were young?
I feel like it's important to have an education. It's important to really know yourself, and it's important to study acting and be the best that you can be. And it's not about money or fame. It's about the work. And I think that from my family, her, if she wants to do that, she can do whatever she wants after she's 18. But until then, no exchange of like money to hand.
She can be in a school play.
She can be in a school play, whatever she wants to do, but no like being a professional with that until she's can make her own decisions on that. I just think it can be a slippery slope.
Was it for you?
Of course. I mean, I was working my butt off from the time from as long as I can remember, and I missed out on being a kid, and that's the part that I wish I could take back. Now, I wouldn't change anything for the world because otherwise my life would not be what it is, but I do regret like not having like a teenage life. I look at, school and proms and things, and I go, that was so not my jam anyway. But, I watch 16 Candles like all the time, like wishing I went to like a school where there was like a teenage life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not everything's 16 Candles, so I guess not.
Well, and then there's the downside of it too. Like
yeah, there's the downside of like
getting...
being like humiliated and sadness and boys and all that. Like I missed out on all that stuff, which was probably a good thing. My high school was Married with Children. So
what about acting today versus acting in the past? I look at the people. You're not on Instagram. No. At least not yet. Maybe later.
I won't be. No.
Why not?
I don't take pictures of myself. I don't take selfies. And I don't find like that anything's very interesting. I find more interest in the things I have to say than just pictures of like my food. Like looking awesome. Like I don't like that to me is like it's grotesque to me, so I just don't do it. I feel super icky if I ever like hold a camera up like by myself in a room. Like this just to me that's like feels very lonely.
I respect that. When you look at actors today and you look at Hollywood today, there are a lot of people who are in Hollywood who are doing what they're doing in part because of that following, because they've cultivated that following.
It's so insane to me. I mean, I've had people tell me that they make decisions on who they're going to cast by who has more followers on Twitter. And I'm like, what a weird world we're living in. Because it used to be the person who is the best person for the job. And now it's like, nope, who's the most popular? It's I don't get involved in that. I mean, I'm 44 years old. I like barely had a cell phone like a few years ago. Like I was one of the holdouts of like having a computer and an iPhone. Like I didn't have an iPhone until like a couple years. Like I was BlackBerry, like I'm that guy. I'm like so behind. I'm really just a mom. I just worked on this movie called Bad Moms.
The bake sale. No BPA, no MSG, no BHA, no BHT, no sesame, no soy, and of course no nuts or eggs or milk or butter or salt or sugar or wheat. No.
With the 5 of the best women I've ever known in my life and the funniest and all moms. Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell, Katherine Hahn, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Annie Mumolo. I mean, I can't. Like, I'm so in love with that group of women. So that's very exciting. That's coming out in July.
Were you all on set talking about your own lives, your own children, sharing?
All the time. Children in politics. That's pretty much what was discussed all day long. You couldn't help it. We'd all come in, like, we're all exhausted. I haven't slept in, like, 25 years.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm, when working with this company Merck and whysoawake.com, because I realize the more I'm talking about it, the more people are like, well, so am I. And I thought I was crazy, and I thought I'm the only one, and there's millions of us, and I think it has to do a lot with technology and kind of we're so overloaded all day long. It's terrible for our health. If you want to lose weight, it ain't going to happen if you're not sleeping. I mean, your quality of life changes, and being a mother, Sadie doesn't care that I slept 1 hour. She wants breakfast. She needs to get to school. She needs to get dressed. She needs to get her teeth brushed. She needs to get her shoes and socks on. She has to get picked up and taken to ballet or whatever. She doesn't care that I haven't slept. So it's really about quality of life and for my family as well. So that's why I'm out here talking about it, because I realize that it's like this taboo, dirty little secret that people aren't sleeping, and it's really not.
What is success to you?
Getting through the day with my kid not hurting herself, making sure she's had some vegetables and some good things. That's success. Honestly, like that's my day. My day is like, did she have vegetables? Yes, she had a green drink and she had asparagus and some good protein, and we're all good.
What's the future for you? What do you envision over the next 20 years of your career?
I mean, to continue to work with really awesome people. I mean, for me, that's the takeaway.
In this industry, Veronica Corningstone is a very important name. You did a lot for the business of television news.
I'm sorry.
Welcome.
I just want to clap too.
Yay, we're all clapping.
Yeah.